Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in that wonderful technicolor river between, welcome to tonight's coverage of Titan Esports' Vanquisher League. I am Witterverdi, and joining me today is not our usual caster GG, but a blaster of the past, a return of some of the old guard. 86. How are you doing tonight, Sader?
I'm doing good. I am on reading week from college, so I thought I'd jump in and join my favorite girls and see what they're up to and join my favorite league, where I used to be always here watching everything, but I do see some familiar faces, some familiar names, some familiar people, some names that I still cannot say. Inigo Montoya, still going to absolutely ruin me. But on the other side of things, Fortress Door, TMG Cone, very used to them, Birdie. But overall, good to see the producers again, Loki and Golden. I missed them quite a bit. I missed you a little, I'll be honest. I did miss you a little. Not as much, but
only
a little bit.
fun.
A little bit. We had a break, we had a break. we had to separate for a little while. We were just getting too good together, and I had to bring in Romeo to really drag down the quality.
I see, of course.
Yeah, but we do love him. But talk to us about the matchup. What's important about this one?
Yeah, we have MYNT and TMG Paladins tonight. Both of these teams have been kind of struggling in their standings recently. Both of them are sitting in that 5th and 6th spot in that Group A, looking to try and get that bounce back, the start of the momentum they need, because the regular season, we're starting to wind down to the end of it. We've only got a couple of weeks left, so you got to get those all-important match wins. I don't think either of these teams are mathematically out of playoffs. If they get their wins, they can keep it up, and this will be an important week for them, as if you're going to start winning, it's got to be now.
Yeah, same as what happened at Worlds. I think NA, they started off a little bit well, and then everything fell apart. And we're not going to talk about CFO and the Flying Oysters beating Fnatic, but other than that, we will be talking about the meta.
None of us want to talk about CFO. None of us want to talk about CFO.
No, it's a horror story. It's an absolute horror story. But nonetheless, the meta, how's things been looking here, Vanquisher? Are we emulating some of Worlds, or are we completely sticking to the Vanquisher style of we like Varus?
Varus has not been seen too much recently. We have been sticking a little bit closer to World. Some of those heavy AD junglers are still pretty popular. We're seeing some Wukong, we're seeing some Xin Zhao. Galio is getting played here and there. It's been a lot of uh, teams focusing on the pressure points for each individual team, so whoever they think is like that big huge problem for whichever side they're going to be up against. Like last week we had, I think it was for all three games that we saw 5 different mid lane bans for each individual game of the Fearless Best of 5, which was a lot of pressure. Yet the mid laners still ended up shining through it. So, still that Vanquisher style of somebody gonna have a pop off moment.
Yeah, it is a it is a classic Vanquisher to turn around and go, let's focus on this guy, and then he absolutely bodies you in a game. It is just the way
Hmm.
Vanquisher is. But I do still play League. I'm not a complete, just haven't played League anymore, and I am playing in a couple of tournaments myself at the moment, which I think I'm
Oh,
undefeated so far playing mid lane, which I hate. But
humble
we're
brag,
here.
humble brag.
So I have been playing quite a bit, and I have been watching quite a bit, at least here in Masters Elo. So we've kind of shifted around the way we play as a team. So we're kind of moving back towards the Viruses, the Smolders, and those kind of things, as we just like to have that scaling, long range kind of damage. So I'm wondering if Vanquish will emulate some of that coming in. But having watched MYNT for about 3 years now, I don't think they're ever going to listen to me when they do anything. So we'll see what happens. But Wukong is still looking up and available for the moment, which means Jarvan, Trundle, Jin Zhao being gone leans towards maybe we might see that Trundle come out, because Jin Zhao's good into Trundle these days.
Yeah, Trundle also has that positive matchup versus Sion, which has been a very popular blind pickable top laner still, even after some of the nerfs headed towards him. He's still very, very strong and very popular as a weak side top laner, so it could be a potential pick up for them. It just depends on what they want. There's still other of those. You were mentioning the Smolder, so MYNT already on the board with some of your picks. You're already back informed, getting your
Yeah.
predictions right away. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a blind pick in here or a Trundle. I think both of them are strong enough that you're okay to just taking them, especially because, like I was mentioning earlier, the Trundle is kind of the
River,
preemptive
maybe?
counter. You're saying, hey, you're gonna play the solo, you're gonna play that Smolder. You want a weaker side top laner. Let's just not let you have the Scion.
So whenever you see a Smolder, you can immediately go Sivir. Now, Smolder can be flexed into the mid lane. There's a lot of that going on. The Chovy effect has re-hit this patch where people are like, yeah, Smolder's fine mid, and I'll just farm the game out. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it.
Smolder
Karma isn't
Karma.
great with Smolder, though.
It's fine enough. I think this is actually a bottom lane that I've played a couple of times, as I do play quite a bit of Karma. The amount of damage you do in the early game is deceptively good, just because Smolder does enough and Karma does a ton. And especially into a shorter range AD carry like Sivir, this is a bottom lane that can work. It's just going to be dependent on what support they end up picking. If it's an engaged support like
Nautilus.
Alistar, Rel is already off the table. Ornn is actually going to be the pickup. I'm surprised to see TMG grab that one early and blind. I wonder if that means they're going to focus down the top laners in
No,
this
that's just
second half of
Cone.
the ban
That's just
phase.
Cone. Like, I don't want to think about this. Just give me the Ornn. Someone else can have the counter pick. It doesn't matter. It's the Cone style. We've seen it so many times. I don't mind it. I don't like that Hwei ban. I don't think this is a great comp for Hwei to be playing into, because just spell shields, Trundle pillars, everything else. He kind of
Low
likes
mobility.
yeah, he kind of likes a little bit more of an easier kind of come to work around, and Ornn and Trundle to say no to whatever Hwei wants to do. So I don't think that's a great ban. I would have rather see maybe a ban towards some of the more impactful mids. I know Azir isn't seen too much, but Azir is so strong. So I would have
So
rather
good,
that
yeah.
one. What did I go for here? Like, I would take the Nautilus. That would be my kind of support right now. It
Yeah,
just has so much more lockup.
I'm surprised to see the support bands opt towards the more defensive supports with Lulu and Braum. I think Nautilus is almost a slam dunk here for TMG Paladins, which is why we see them lock it in. It's not great versus the Jarvan in a vacuum, but you look at Smolder and Karma in that isolated 2v2 lane, and even though Sivir is shorter range, it's definitely a matchup that Nautilus is going to have a good time in. Gnar is going to be the pick into Ornn, which I think is fine enough. I don't
No,
hate this pick in
no.
particular. It's
Scion,
gonna
Scion.
be rough as we have Varus locked in. Is this Smoller mid or Varus mid?
I think they'll actually leave it up to the last second, because if you pick something like Ziggs here, because that's the obvious safety choice. You take the Ziggs here, and it's just like you can just sit back and just throw bombs at whatever is mid. They are going to put the Varus mid, which I don't mind.
Interesting. Okay.
I just think you have way too much backline damage. I know it's a weird thing to say, but your all in is all on the Gnar and the Jarvan. If one of them fall behind, they will melt into a Trundle. Like, Trundle presses R
Yeah.
and one of them is dead.
There's also the fact that this comp is almost entirely physical damage, unless Olveric is going to go for AP Varus and go for the ultimate plus empowered Q1 shot kind of build. It's not very popular, and I wouldn't say it's
Smolder, it's
very
true damage with a
good.
burn. Like,
Yeah, it's true damage when he gets to that point in the late game, but pre 225 stacks, you're relying on Varus for damage, you're relying on Gnar for damage,
but if
even
you're
Jarvan
not getting there, Britty, are you even playing Smolder?
That is the other part of this. You have a heavy AD composition that has a carry mid lane, a pseudo carry top in Gnar, and an aggressive jungler. Smolder, yeah, is a good like late game safety option, but what lanes is Jarvan actually ganking here? Are you going to gank the Ornn up in topside? Or are you going to try and get set up from mid lane against the Ziggs? Are you going to try and gank the Sivir? It's not an easy matchup, I think, for Luckified here on this Jarvan. So we're going to have to see how he pilots it as we're onto the Rift here for game number 1.
Well, he has Hail Blades, which would lead me to believe that they could go into the AP version, just to get those all effects off.
Actually, yeah.
A little, yeah. So he's leaving his options open. The Doran's Blade, Doran's Ring thing does not matter. Ignore that. Varus just always goes Doran Blade, especially with the changes to Doran's Blade. It changed to like percentage now, which is just completely changed ADC. You can just absolutely spam Caitlyn now, and everything's going to be fine because you can just scale like hell. But I will say that I think a lot of this game will kind of harbor on Jarvan. I think Jarvan is probably the key to unlock everything here for MYNT, while TMGP are just hoping for mistakes. They're also hoping for someone to go a little bit too far forward, and then they can collapse.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see that in the triple teleport that they have Kami on the Sivir opting for the teleport instead of something more aggressive like Barrier or even Ghost. I don't know how I feel about it because Smolder Karma is a lane that can provide a lot of poke, and maybe we'll end up forcing out a summoner early. We'll have to see what that TP usage actually ends up looking like. Either way, you mentioned the Ziggs being able to poke out the Varus in the early game and just sit back and farm. We'll have to see how much that Halo Blades actually does for him, but I expect the early game, until we see some jungle interference, to be pretty calm, pretty quiet.
Out of everything here, right, Brady, I've got a serious question for you, and you have to play on one of these teams in whatever role you want, whatever position you want. Which one are you most scared about in your position?
Given that I play a lot of Karma, I'll say I'd put myself in Bots Maven's position, and I am worried about Nautilus in this 2v2. If Trundle paths down towards bottom lane, and if you don't have proper warding, you don't have proper communication with your team, you're not tracking the Trundle easily, this is a very vulnerable lane, and it is not difficult to force a flash or force a heal or even a barrier out of this 2v2 in the bottom lane.
I do remember, like, I'm doing like some odd casts for like Irish stuff, just casual stuff, and it's just nice to have production again that knows how to do split cameras. Like I can see two things at once, and I get to watch everything. It's just magic. But yeah, up on this top side, trading is always going to be very, very slow. It's going to be Ornn eventually getting advantages because Ornn is a mage, shaman, tank, pseudo, mage, massive assassin. Everything is busted on this thing. Look at that, like, Gnar jumps in, launches a full combo.
Inigo's jumping in. Cone almost gets the solo kill. Cone transforming not at the best time, has to lose that flash.
I'm gonna write like
I feel like we see this with Ornn every week. Every week Ornn comes in.
I'm going to send it into Vanquisher and tell them, when you see Ornn, do not fight. Like, that is it. Just stop messing with this thing. It's don't poke the bear, but the bear has an AK-47.
The bear spits fire at you and then also makes you take % max health magic damage. Yeah, Ornn is just really good early in the game for taking trades. The brittle procs do a ton of damage, and Inigo Montoya was not respecting it this time, which means that he ends up losing his flash and his teleport as well. So fairly vulnerable on that Gnar now, as we see Tosspot down here in the bottom side. Spotted currently. We've got junglers moving in. Flash hook in on to the Karma. A nice two-man flag and drag from Luckify. They're onto Tosspot instead. Trundle is forced to flash out. Kami getting some autos down, but the Sivir this early in the game just can't provide the damage. Everybody from TMG Paladins is on the run, and it ends up being a fairly positive trade, but a nice hook from Fortress Door. Myers is ticking away. Ignite is gonna find it. First blood to Nautilus. Fortress Door with a great hook.
I do love how the First Blood covered up the actual Smolder's death to not let people see the baby dragon die in that way, because that was such a mistake. I feel almost happy to Smolder die first, because I've been playing Smolder, and every time I do, it just like the rest of my team ins, and it's like, yeah, you don't deserve to just get a free win by playing Smolder. No, you don't. But yeah, that is just an overextension, way too much, and just not necessary at all at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it was a great counterplay from TMG or from MYNT initially. Luckified in the right place at the right time, tracking Tosspot correctly. As Kami now is the one who's low, but's got that spell shield, so should be fine. Potential trading here on the top side as Tosspot wants to take this fight, but Nard does plenty of damage. Cone is not going to get the knockup. Flag and drag over the wall. Luckified just wants out as Noxic is on the way. Everyone else will just force me back off, and it is just going to be TMG with first rotate. And I'm looking at the Varus inventory now that we're on mid lane. I see that glowing moat. I see that extra bit of CDR. I think it might be AP Varus.
There is a chance. There is a chance. I'm not hoping to, because whenever you see AP Virus do damage, you go, "Oh, this is how it should always be played," and then you play it and get absolutely destroyed. So this is going to be a very, very important PSA. If you play Virus AP, I'm not your friend. Okay? If you're in my game, you're going to int. If you're on the enemy team, you're going to one-shot me. So I don't like you. Simple as. But overall, great trading coming out in a 1 versus 2. Look at the confidence level.
The spacing from Olveric, taking advantage of that ghost, did end up using it because Fortress Door was in the mid lane and won't have a teleport to match Noxic later in the game. But like you said, great spacing, great kiting there out of the Varus. And that's what you want to see when you have someone who has ghost. Confidence in movement and confidence of just walking up to the enemy and saying, "Hey, I know my range. I'm going to be able to get out of yours faster."
Yeah, also just going to keep a quick eye on the stacks here for the Smolder. Pretty good for the moment, up to 30 stacks. Will have that slight AoE effect on the queue, so we should see them stacking up quicker and quicker as they set up those waves. Also with Karma, one of the things I do like about having Karma as a Smolder, if they queue with the backline, you can immediately get set up for a quick 3 stacks. So little things like that are good, as you see Karma automatically doing it, and I feel like that was a caster buff for that, just a little bit. But yeah, that's
it's
one
a
of the good
caster
things.
call instead of a caster curse. Is we're seeing the lane swap here. I mean, you always were. You're just continuing your presence. If you've got the early lane swap, this is also something that we've been seeing a lot of bottom lanes and top lanes swapping it up very early on to try and take advantage of that first spawn of grubs, since the dragon is somehow actually falling off in priority, or at least teams are saying, "Hey, we're willing to trade the dragon for grubs again." It's back to the one team gets one objective, the other team gets the other, as Cone takes a pretty hefty advantageous trade into Myers. Call the Forge God used. Myers on their own for now, but does have the barrier, so the Baby Dragon is still fine. Bots Maven is in the area. Cone now potentially the one in trouble, but has the flash. You CC immune, but the root is still going to land. Has the charge. Will manage to get out just in time, and has the biscuit, so should be able to sustain back up. And well, like you said, this is just Cone things. He plays Ornn, and he's confident on it.
He is confident, but the unstoppable mistiming on the route there was a little bit sad to watch. It's like, Cone, I know you play this. I know you always play this.
Unfortunately, that wasn't a mistiming. That's just how Ornn's Unstoppable works. I'll get into that in a second as Inigo Montoya stuck in a 1v3, but has the crunch over the wall. A nice use of the Gnar as well defensively. Will get out of dodge. Fortress Door may be looking to interrupt the recall or just take a ward, so won't be interrupting the recall this time around. But yeah, Ornn Unstoppable only works in the moment. If the CC duration lasts longer than the Unstoppable does, you just get CC'd anyway. It's really annoying.
Yeah, but you can time it for the start to the end, you know, and you get that little burst. It's little things, but the smite does go over to the little Tosspot.
He hits level 6, and there's the subjugate, and Luckified is shredded apart. Anoxic finds the last hit. Myers is here, calls in Mom, but can't get much of an advantage out of it. Chains of Corruption miss from Olveric as well. TP in from Inigo Montoya, coming from the bottom lane to the top, and they're looking to try and get a contest on these grubs. As Anoxic, nice little satchel charge hop over the wall, but they're starting their grubs, and their jungler is still not in the area, and Tosspot is no smite available for the Trundle just yet, but I think with the advantage that they have in numbers, I say that now, but they're starting to look for a turnaround. Luckified is still on the way. Ornn is teleporting in. Myers is the target for Fortress Door, but the Nautilus now has no mana. Still level 5, so no chance for that depth charge to come through. Inigo Montoya almost fully stacked on the Gnar, but doesn't have the Gnar of ulti available. And the poke now just starts to come through between the Sivir and the Ziggs, and they're just forced out of the pit. They get their 2 grubs, so they get their stack, but they can't get all 3.
I do miss Vanquisher. What was that entire sequence? Someone needs to just give. Like, Inigo Montoya was in the pit taking the second grub, while the rest of his team was trying to push them off of it, and it was just back and forth, messy from both sides. But they do manage to get 2, which sets them up for 2 stacks on the feats for the objectives, which is a great little start. But they are down to 2 kills, so they're going to have to use those grubs to great effect to get that tower. If they do end up giving up that kill, which with the kind of comp that is available to
Ooh.
EMGP, they should be able to get a pick at some point. They do have that Nautilus available, Sivir with the chase down, Ziggs with the bombs on top. It should be an easy pickup for them to get that. So it all comes down to that tower race.
Yeah, I think it was also fairly important for Mint that TMG did not get 2 or 3 of the grubs for themselves, just because they do have the Ziggs, they have the Trundle, they have the Sivir, these champions that, when they get the chance, absolutely decimate turrets. As Montoya takes another Brittle proc to the face, but I think is looking to get a recall off fairly soon, so shouldn't be in too much trouble. Big wave under here on the bottom lane. With Fortress Door and Tosspot in the area, there's potential for a play, but I think Fortress Door is just going to be playing the vision game for now.
Yeah, just put the wards in the bag. Fortress Door says that he just walks through the entire jungle, does not care anymore. We'll take all of those. And yeah, it's just... This is the lull period while we're waiting for the Drake to spawn, where everyone's just kind of standing around hoping someone's face pops around the wall and Fortress Door gets to throw a hook at it. It's literally whack-a-mole, but it looks like he's going to walk forward angrily towards Myers, will get rooted. There's nothing.
Chains
There's
won't,
nothing.
Yeah, Chains won't land from bottom Maven. Fortress Door doesn't throw the hook. Again, both junglers just shadowing each other here, making sure that nobody can get a gank off for free. As Kami Myers are going to continue to play the trading game, flash away from bottom Maven to get away from that hook. So Fortress Door forces something out of the play, but everybody's just looking for that last little bit of advantage.
What happened to the game I loved where junglers just full cleared? Just go back to that, guys. Come on, just put the CS numbers in the bag. But little Tosspot is going to step forward once again.
They know that the Karma doesn't have flash. Jeff's charge in on top of Myers. They want to kill the Karma. They're going to take it around. Tosspot finds the kill. A nice 2-man flag and drag from Luckify, but he's just taken out. Tosspot picks up a double kill. The bomb is in. It's going to take a chunk out of Myers and give the Trundle 3. The Nautilus will fall, but it's 3 quick kills over to Tosspot, but now he's potentially in trouble as there's the AP Varus first shut down over to Oliveric. Catching him on the rotate means no free dragon for the TMG Paladin side.
No free dragon, but 3 kills over to that Trundle. Now has completed that Trinity and is going to be back on that map ready to fight, look a fight at any point. So Trundle in a great position now, but we still do get that kill back and double buff onto Oliveric, who is going to force the Fortress Door to appear in the mid lane, but will be covered off by bots Maven as they are going to find the Nautilus.
I'm a little surprised the Fortress Door doesn't go for a hook there, but bots Maven takes him off with sheer aura, just says, hey, I'm going to walk at you and you're going to be afraid of me. As Noxic now potentially the one in trouble, but with Tosspot and Cone in the area, maybe not the trade they want to take. Hook barely misses from Fortress Door. Pillar is going to force the heal out of bots Maven just for that extra bit of movement speed, so everyone will walk away, but TMG Paladins really does not want to give up this dragon. They do not want to give over those feats.
Yeah, just after seeing the 3 biggest boys come around that corner, just protecting the smallest little Yordle, it's just cinema, pure cinema. But yeah, the Trundle, Nautilus, and the Ornn ready to protect Anoxic at any point as they do pick up their first Drake, and now we're going to see what it is. Infernal.
That was a little close for comfort. Bots Maven almost had a nice steal there, but yeah, will be Infernal Soul 1-to-1 Dragons as Nico Montoya looks for a potential play here on Kami. Doesn't get the stun into the wall, but gets the wall up stun regardless. Takes a couple of tower shots for his trouble, though, and Kami can trade back, has that full Essence Reaver, popping the On the Hunt as well, wants to keep this chase going. Nico Montoya forced to flash out, and Kami defends the wave, defends the turret, takes the flash out of the enemy top laner.
I feel like the Nar just got a little bit overexcited there. Like, yeah, this is possibly a kill for me, and just did not expect Sivir to be able to...
Yeah, not the trade you want to take. He's going to be forced to flash out there. Mom was calling, had to go to dinner, needed to run.
Yeah, that's the Vanquisher I know and love. I'm going to engage. Uh-oh, I'm going to flash. Like, every time. Every time.
Hey, guys, enemy supporters out of position. I can hook. I'm hooking here. Hey, where's my team? Hello? Team?
100 stacks at 14. That's not bad going. I would like to see the 125, but... not bad for the state the game is in, as please don't go in just because you got Meganar here. Please, God, just let me see you recall.
Oh, Noxic forced to lose the flash, but the Cataclysm's there anyway. Oliveric with the piercing arrow across the wall. Who needs to build AD? The piercing arrow does damage anyway.
That's 2 shutdowns now for the Varus. So they are going to be a very, very strong AP Varus, which is going to be great for the side of MYNT as Cone. It doesn't do anything, but it looks good.
Good job, Cone. He clears the wave. Good job, Cone. You did it.
Yeah, it's just the way the boat knocked up perfectly. It looks like a field goal. See what the rest
Yeah,
of the ID. I'm looking at these lane assignments, and inside I'm screaming, but on the outside I have to explain why. Is that they want more pressure on the top side, so they keep putting Sivir up there, and it's a nice safe lane for Sivir to farm in because they need to keep a lot of pressure on Smolder, and it's easier to do that with Cone because Cone won't die, and Cone
yeah.
can just continue to walk forward, and Sivir might die.
Oh,
But Inigo
Inigo
Montoya
has
also
no
might die.
flash on the Gnar, has the hop, but the depth charge is point and click, crowd control, another point and click CC. Fortress Door will take the kill, but I don't think Kami minds that much at this point, because that's going to be first turret going down in the top side.
Yeah, that will be first turret, and that will be feats completed for the side of TMG.
Oh, they get it
Oh,
on
they
the
don't have to
bottom
get a
side,
bot.
actually. MYNT steals it away from
Ooh.
them. So I believe that means it's 2-2 for each side. Next objective will seal the feats.
Will indeed. I'm cautiously
No,
optimistic that this game
TMG only
is
has
going to
one.
blow.
Olvaric. Chains of Corruption flashing forward. Has the Ghost on as well. Just wants to go for the solo kill. Olvaric's AP Barrius. You gotta watch out for this man.
Nashor's 2 completed. He got the ult off to get the Hail of Arrows down. Very, very nicely done. Flashes forward to then use Hail of Blades to restack the tree. And you don't need to charge up the arrow when you're Varus. You just need to hit it. If it has 3 stacks, you're dead. And yeah, the piercing arrow will finish that one off as Myers now going to collect another load of stacks from the mid lane, going to set themselves up nicely. And yeah, but this is the game plan. MYNT is just waiting for Smolder to... There's the rate as well. Yeah, 125, just another 100 to go, and we might actually get to see some damage from the Smolder. But we can see already the goal lead for the Famer of Cammy, the XP lead from being solo in that top lane for so long. Cammy is miles ahead of the Smolder.
Yeah, this is the thing with putting your teleport Sivir in that top side against the Gnar. Gnar can't provide enough pressure in the 1v1. They need some form of help, and Kami was just able to accelerate their CS lead. They're 50 up over Myers. And granted, the Gnar is 50 CS up over the Ornn, but Ornn has been still collecting XP, so he doesn't feel as bad about going down in gold. He's still going to be a level 16, level 17 Ornn at the end of the day. He's still going to provide the upgrades for your fed Sivir, for your fed Trundle, and life is going to be great for TMG as long as they make it to that point in the game.
It is 4 levels though. It is a crazy stat to look at. It is like it is quite a lot of levels have been split all over the place. But yeah, we're gonna see what they're gonna do with this rift because it's just gonna be a raw crash. It's gonna be no pilot, and it will get picked up. But I feel like they could have used that to a better effect, and maybe went for a big play before dropping it. But yeah, just hit the tower raw, it'll be fine.
They may have just been on timer there. I wasn't looking at exactly how long it had left on it. I was looking at other things, unfortunately. We do have Olvaric not opting for the Shadow Flame, which I was almost expecting. They're just going straight for the Death Cap second item, saying, hey, nobody's building Magic Resist. I'm just going to be able to shred people with massive amounts of AP.
Yeah, you don't really need to worry about taking out the Nautilus or the Ornn at this stage, as far as I know. You're usually the tank. Okay, never mind. Bye, Toss Pop.
Oh, they found the Trundle. Absolutely decimated in his own jungle a second before Dragon spawns, and that will be the feats over to Team MYNT. Inigo Montoya just zoning off the Nautilus, making sure Fortress Door can't get anywhere close. Kami on the run, but fast enough on the Sivir that not really in any threat range. The Dragon will go over. MYNT will pick up their feats and get that first Infernal Dragon for themselves.
That was such a nicely developed play from MYNT to be like, yeah, if we just sit here, we have all the vision control, someone's gonna walk over that ward. We just kill them. Look, if you don't have the ult, you don't have Cataclysm. Step back.
Yeah, hook misses from Fortress Door. Now Myers gets to walk forward, but does have the depth charge. Look, if I taking quite a bit of damage. Kami doesn't finish to spell shield Mom. Everyone else is just forced on the run. Bots Maven still providing that little bit of poke, and Myers just wants to keep getting the stacks on the Smolder. Gets away from the hook, but just barely. Sitting on 158 now. Once you get that 125, the stacks accelerate so quickly.
They do, and that's what you... Oh, Fortress Door, you did not look at where other people were clicking.
Yeah, Bots Maven is going to take a bit of damage from that boomerang, but now Olvera gets a snipe over the front, and the Chains of Corruption will find the last hit. Code will get away from the AoE, but Fortress Door a little too aggressive and punished for it severely.
Sivir clicked right, and Fortress clicked forward, and then Fortress died. That's how this happened. But yeah, it's gonna be another turn. Myers finishes off Cammy, who was disrespectfully recalling in and out of position. So yeah, that's kind of blown the game open. TMGP were doing so well in terms of kills and setup, and they were looking good. MYNT had a couple of good plays to get them in, but they're just handing them back the kill lead now, and MYNT they'll run away with it.
Luckified is taking the trade versus Tosspot here. Should have Flag and Drag up soon, so we'll be able to get away from the Trundle. Wants to continue the chase, though. Myers is in the area, but the Smolder is not going to provide too much. Cataclysm in just for the escape route. Flashes over his own wall to make sure an Oxtic is as far away as possible. Mom over the top just to dissuade any extra chase, and Luckified will make it out with his life.
And Oxtic had the satchel down as well and just chose not to go over the wall, and threw the dribbliest rocket or bomb I've ever seen. It barely left his feet. He threw it at his own toes. It was
Fortress door. Fortress door, buddy. You're not allowed to be here. Oh my lord, the burst. AP Varus is no joke.
Yeah, this feels like solo queue. This feels like solo queue. I'd never change Vanquisher. Never change. There is games like this in Vanquisher. Like sometimes you get those like really intense, like high level games, and then sometimes you see an AP Varus go 6-0, and it's very upsetting. Because we spoke so much about like the smolder win condition, getting to those stacks, and all those important things. Then Ulvarix said, "Hey, hold on a minute. I'm actually the carry. I'm very upset that you taught anything else. Here, let me prove it to you." And has decided, yeah, I'm going to, and is now bodying everyone for all the advantages Cammy had, the triple kill that little Tosspot had early. It doesn't matter when Varus says no.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when Varus just one-shots you with 2 buttons, and that ends up being pretty good to give yourself advantage around an Otacon, as TMG Paladins aren't even confident enough to come in and face-check this. Otacon already down to 6k, Tosspot's in the area, but Trundle just has no way to get in. Down to 4k, and Oxtic is throwing bombs over the wall. They've got the vision. Luckified actually taking extremely low. Mega in front of him over the top. It's a disaster! Tosspot smites down the Otacon, and MYNT are scattered to the winds. Fortress Door is looking for an engage. Cone has the goal. The Fortigon over the top. It's not going to find a knockup, but it should dissuade Montoya from going in. Wants to find it anyway. Gets the arm to the wall. The 2 double kill over to an ego. Myers over the wall, getting plenty of damage now with the flap. It's a triple kill over to Montoya. He'll finally fall. But TMG Paladins go even in the trade, but take the Otacon.
There was so much that I don't want to speak about. So much that happened in there I don't want to speak about. But look, if I just over tanked that objective from start to finish, took way too much damage, way too much poke, and you can see just all of the resistances are getting shredded here. And it's really important to keep an eye on Luckified, because it's like one bomb, stepping over all of the traps, drags himself through, takes it all, and then it's dead, down to 1200, easy pickup. And from this point on, everything looks all in favor. And TMGP, they step back. Here comes the Ornn, great setup. This is great from the Gnar, jumps in, gets the thing, but Myers still focused on the Ornn, can't get in. If they could have got over that wall, it would have changed everything. I mean, might have seen the Gnar actually be able to survive, but they have to run away. And Cammy done very well positioning wise, but just couldn't chase the rest of them down.
Yeah, a very hectic fight to end up being even. Just a little bit of an unlucky positioning there from Luckified. You can't flag and drag yourself through those bombs when those Otacon resist shred you down. It's very similar to Baron. If you take magic damage, or if you, with Otacon, you take any damage, it's going to be a lot. You're going to be feeling a lot of pain.
Yeah, just the way Jarvan just slided through all of those little bombs from Ziggs, every single one of them, is just taking all of the minefield damage and then just having no health left.
All right,
so
potentially in
sad.
trouble. Flash is out, but there's the ultimate from Tosspot. The Cataclysm walks over again. He gets the kill, but he ends up dying. Luckified says, "I'm helping," and is going to end up falling. A nice shield from Botsman. It has the Sundered Sky as well. Continues to sustain up. Akami will finally pick up the kill in this game. Call the Forge got over the top. Myers has 225. The Smolder is online. He's stacked. The burn is coming through. Fortress Door ticks down. Myers picks him up from afar. Everyone else is forced to run away as the dragon has grown up, and he's very scary. Myers wants to continue the chase. Flashes forward into Akami, but he's got the spell shield. You can't activate your passive if the spell shield takes the spell. Myers goes down. Kami picks up the kill, and now the Dragons of Montoya tries to chase down and knocks it, but Kami's in the area anyway. A double kill over to the Simmer, and it's going to be Dragon for Paladins.
Why did I come back? Why did I come back? No. What have you done
You
to my
picked
boys?
a great week to come back.
What have I done? Yeah, that was so aggressive from Myers. Not only going over the wall with the flap, but also to flash as well is just so insane. When you'd already done so well in that fight, you picked up a couple of kills, just go and stack some more. Like it's the same as Nasus. The more stacks, the better. Just keep stacking. Don't worry about
When you
flashing
get to
for kills.
25, you feel so strong. You feel so powerful. You're like, I can take on the world. I'm finally a
You're
champion.
down
And
two
then the
levels and nearly 100 CS. Shut up. It does
yeah, and
not
then the
matter.
three-headed Sivir says, "Oh, hey, you think you've grown up? Boomerang to the face. You lose all your health. Die."
I have one button that says no. Like that's basically how it works. A lot of champions in this game have one button that means no, but you don't go onto a Sivir like that. Sivir needs to be overwhelmed with numbers and things hitting her to mess up. And yeah, Cammy has to be feeling very, very strong right now. So much crit, so much damage, and just wave manipulation time, unlimited mana. I'm not a big fan of the Essence Reaver build. I much prefer just going for the Kraken or just going for raw
Yuntal's
damage.
Yuntal is my
Yeah.
preferred go-to. But I think Essence Reaver is good if you want to be on the map, out on the map as much as possible, and that seems to have been Kami's style with this teleport, just trying to play for the waves, play for time as much as they can. And they started off 0-1 and 5, not getting a bunch of kills, not getting a ton of the gold value that the team has outside of that CS, but now 4-1 and 7, 3.5 items completed. This is Sivir's true strong point. Once she gets the armor penetration, that last crit item, she's gonna feel unstoppable.
You should try cracking Hubris on Sivir sometime. It is hella fun.
That sounds gross.
It is. It is very fun though when you start slicing through people and then getting more damage and they keep bouncing with more damage. It's just like, yeah, wonderful. But yeah, it is Cammy. No.
Oh, yeah, greedy recall, punished by Kami, unstoppable now on the Sivir.
That's revenge for the other one where Myers picked up Cammy. Okay, that was just a throwback to that moment. But look, it opens up the Baron. They don't have the vision anymore. Bots Maven won't be there to drop vision. There's one pink in the inventory of Inigo Montoya, who's up in the top side. So this should be an easy pickup for them vision wise. Should be very hard for them to lock this one down, and they have to go in blind.
Luckified and Myers are in the area. They have to be worried about the smolder damage. They're going to look for a potential turn. Fortress Door gets the knockup onto Myers. Cataclysm in. It finds Fortress Door. They've now luckified. Myers still alive, trying to do the damage. They picked up Fortress Door, but now Alvaric is in the area. Chains of Corruption didn't end up landing, so Alvaric not finding a ton of value, but Myers already tapped it with the Q. The Dragon's Breath doing plenty of damage. Alvaric has the stopwatch in his inventory. Will stay alive. A double kill over to Myers. Nico tries to get Kami in, but a great spell shield from the Sivir will keep her alive, and now Anoxic over the wall, a bouncing bomb to knock down the baby dragon. Kami and Anoxic keeping TMG Paladins alive in the fights.
So many points to that fight were going so well for MYNT. They separated the Sivir from the fight, but then we went back to the fight and everyone was just dying. And it was just Ziggs finally getting some damage down and Little Tosspot finding that time to get off that press the attack, get that amplified damage. And from that point on, everything just melted. That's a mistiming on the satchel. Anoxic, come on, bruh.
It still has the passive auto, will still take down the turret. Alvaric looking for a potential ulti angle, but just doesn't have the range for it. And I think another big part of that was Alvaric just not providing a ton of value in that fight. We didn't see the Varus one-shot somebody. We didn't see somebody just get absolutely deleted off the face of the earth. So that's where the AP Varus kind of loses a lot of value. You're not poke Varus. You're not providing a lot of like slow but consistent damage. You're not on hit where you're DPSing tanks down. You're a one-shot character. And if you miss your rotation, that's kind of it.
They were focused so hard on getting Cammy out of the fight or trying to kill Cammy, but the spell shield was there, so Cammy managed to flash out of the fight, and they separated the main threat. Like, Sivir is the scariest one, but after that, the rest of the team, they didn't have enough damage, and Myers wasn't getting enough off, so although Ulrich did the job correctly, if they had killed Cammy, it would have changed it, but they didn't, and that's the important distinction we need to make. But looking at the inventory now, they have a Zhonya's, so they can play a little bit more aggressive, because they have that kind of backup tech. But the Baron is...
They're looking for it. Redemption used for vision, so they see the Baron. Luckified is on the way. Fortress Store looking for potential engage. He's found Myers. The dragon is so small, but he stays alive for so long. The shields from Karma, the sustain, keeping the team up. Luckified looking for a potential engage. Montoya gets the Gnar over the wall, but it only finds one. Chains of Corruption miss again from Ulvaric, just not providing the value, but Cone falls to the true damage. Bots Maven gets caught by the hook, will end up getting knocked down, and as Anoxic takes down the dragon. It's a double kill for Myers, but it's from beyond the grave. Montoya now on the wrong side of the map, forced to run. Kami's godlike on the Sivir. Tosspot will eventually chase down Inigo. Maybe has to be careful in these tight corridors. The Narvan flag and drag can do plenty of damage as Anoxic is just looking to continue the poke. Kami goes legendary on the other side of the fight. Finally chase down Alvaric. But TMG mount a great offense off of that Baron. Anoxic potentially in a bit of trouble here, but has the bombs, has essential charge, but no! We'll get knocked down by Inigo, shut down over to the Gnar, who's going to try and get the heck out of dodge now.
Yeah, and just for time for Dragon to spot. So great stuff there. They do manage to get one objective out of it. But this Baron and this Akatan seem to be Mint's absolute worst nightmare. Major objectives, they are just failing at them all over this game. The Akatan slipped over the TMGP as they managed to just slide in and take it. Both of these Baron fights have been so messy that it just feels like they're lacking some sort of setup. And most people would say it's a tank. They need a proper tank to help start these fights. Look, Fortress gets it perfectly here. Gets the engage on the Myers. Myers is down for the moment. Does move very well over towards this right side. But Ulvarich misses the Chains of Corruption. Can no longer be in this fight. Trundle says no and puts a pillar down. And then from here, it is nice and easy. We just see Anoxic on the top as the secondary carry, Cammy on the front as the other, and they just chase them off one by one now. Everything after this point is messy and silly. We're not going to comment too much on this. This is just silly. But back on live, it looks like Gnar has just lost Mega, so it's going to be a very, very slow point from here just to regain vision, because without Mega, Gnar really isn't a champion.
I had almost forgotten how you say Otacon and how it makes me feel.
Otacon?
It's Akaton.
Oh, I say it backwards the whole time. It's the Irish in me.
Yeah, you continuously said it backwards. It's like if I'd Flagger Drake's onto Cone, but not exactly the target he wants to engage on. On the hunt, pots by Kami. They were looking for a potential engage. Lavark maybe out of position. Fortress Door doesn't have the flash though, so everyone else will walk away as Kami. You gotta be careful. The damage comes through. Smolder! Chew from downtown shuts down the Sivir. Anoxic gets a nice satchel charge to get away from Luckify, but he's got the Cataclysm. If he gets close, Anoxic will die. It ends up not being able to get in range. Nice pillar, but without their fed Sivir, suddenly the chance to re-engage on a Baron and to take a fight seems out of TMG's reach.
The fact that Fortress Door has the symbiotic shoes annoys me for some reason. Why are you going so crazy? But yeah, that will be a very nice pickup for them, unless Cone has something to say about it.
Cone, call it the Forge God, looking for a potential cheeky steal, but the smite comes through. Luckified will grab that Mega Inferno Bomb, just a little bit of poke, and now Cone, you're a bit out of position. He's going to get rooted up, sniped down. That percent missing health damage goes crazy on the Varus, and a big shutdown gold over to Myers, and suddenly MYNT are back in the driver's seat. They finally have a successful Baron play.
Successful off of a mistake. Kami made a big
success
mistake.
Is success. In the biz, we take those.
We do take those. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But we'll have to kind of like look objectively at this now. So Smolder is beyond stacked. Smolder is ready to go in at any point here. We're starting to see all those items come true from the Ornn as well. All those upgraded, beautiful ornaments. And it is going to continue scaling in their favor. Smolder will counter the Ornn Fortress.
A dangerous look.
Ignore that you've done that. He just hit the wall directly in front of him. Did the wall do something to you?
The wall saved him from making a terrible mistake by hooking into the enemy team that has Baron, and his team was
not. HR. There's something about that wall that's got him. Fortress, you're a long-time member. Don't be afraid to reach out, okay?
Cone is going to get that second upgrade off. Death Cap upgraded for Noxic alongside that Infinity Edge from Kami, which they've been sitting on for a while. Chains of Corruption lands onto Fortress Door. Half of his health is gone, and Smolder gets Q off, which means he's going to burn to death. Rampage for the Smolder, making a double with Mom coming through as Kami falls. They picked up Luckify, but it's all they're going to get out of the fight.
Yeah, Kami refusing to use that flash to get out of that one is a little bit of a mistake there. They could have made some space for themselves, but they chose not to. And that could mean the opening of the base, as the Gnar is going to go Mega off of this as well. Should be able to get this with the help of the minions. And yeah, they're going to open up the mid. They're going to be able to open up the bot side here. And without Kami on the map, they are going to lose a lot off of this one. Myers taking a lot of damage there, but still should be safe enough. There's no way you can do it.
Flashed away by Toss Spot, managed just to get away from the piercing arrow as well, so no percent missing health damage there, but one inhibitor down. That mid lane inhibitor turret standing strong thanks to the wave clear from Anoxic, but the split push from Inigo Montoya putting in work for MYNT.
Yeah, that Gnar just... I do love bruisers when they can play that way, where they can go off to a side and still be a threat in 1v2 situations. It is really nice to see, but I just don't think Gnar's a good champion. I think it's fake. It's just a fake champion. Like, I'm allowed to dislike things.
Every pro player for the last, 5 years, give or take. We are seeing the full item builds coming through to fruition for a lot of members now. 4.5 items for Ulvarich, 4.5 for Smolder as well. Sivir's on that full 5 item build as Another Chains of Corruption lands, another chunk of health out of Fortress Door. Luckified now gets the call in, tries to take damage down. So there goes the the Trundle. Goodbye. Gets a chunk taken out of him by Myers, who is now dominating on the Smolder. Weak in the early game, strong in the late game. He's feeling fierce.
Yeah, 12 and 5 now, nearly full build, working towards that last GA or Bloodthirster. I think most people go towards GA these days, but working towards that last item. Once that's completed, it's done. There is no way that TMGP are going to be able to pull something out of the bag at this one. It is such a tough position to be in. Kami having to get that QSS will also reduce a lot of the damage available to them. So yeah, it just feels like it's all kind of falling apart for them here, and Cone's ornaments aren't going to be enough. And we have to look back towards that triple kill from Trundle and go, they should have done a lot more with that.
Yeah, going from 3 and 1, I believe it was, to 5 and 6. It's not the scoreline that you want to see from your jungler, who got a very hefty early lead as Fortress Door looking for an all-in, gets the ultimate down on to Myers, but has the flash over the wall, so the Smolder will remain safe. Botsmaven, in the meantime, getting focused down. Kami with the bouncing blades will find it, but Smolder over the wall goes godlike. Gnar into the back line, a double kill over to the Baby Dragon. They want to give him some more. Make it 3. Are we going to see the quadra kill? No! Ulveric denies the penta, but we'll take game 1 for MYNT.
Denies the Penta, but deserves to take that last one. Deserves to. Had a great game on the Varus, and Smolder, you're not allowed to do that. That's criminal. You can't just get a free game like that where they just let you stack infinitely. But yeah, game 1 over to MYNT in what was a very back and forth game. But I have to say, the positioning from Ulvaric to keep Myers in the game long enough to get those stacks was big.
Yeah. The fact that they had their Varus up 6-0 in the mid game meant that the Smolder had all that time to farm up. But I think the other thing was a TMG opting to make that lane swap early on. Yeah, you get your Sivir out of the Smolder Karma lane where you're taking a lot of poke and you're getting a lot of free farm versus the Gnar. But the Smolder is also getting free farm versus your Ornn. Cone is not going to be able to provide a ton of poke and a ton of pressure versus the Smolder, and it was just a lot of free time that Smolder didn't have in the laning phase.
Yeah, there were such big advantages. That's the thing that's going to worry anyone from the side of TMG. Like, they had such big advantages and didn't get to use them. The Trundle with the trio, Kami with all that side lane, solo XP. Even Anoxic towards the end was doing incredible damage, but if Smolder has a Karma that builds full shield, has a Jarvan that's going to hold all those people in place, and Ulvaric's going to one-shot the tanks, it makes it very easy for a Smolder to set themselves up for a success, and they did end up doing it. Now, we can't forget also that Luckified had a lot of great engages and great knockups to help set up the team, and the Gnar, regardless of how much I think it's a fake champion, was played to its peak. I say you'll never get a better Gnar than that in any game, and if they do, please send me the clip. But nonetheless, it was a great game from the side of MYNT. They did really, really well in this one, and let's see if they can continue it in the next one.
Yeah, that's the big thing with Fearless. You don't get Smolder Karma anymore, so you don't get that free late game win. And there were a lot of early game mistakes that TMG ended up taking advantage of. So we'll have to see in game number 2 if TMG will take advantage of similar mistakes or if MYNT are going to clean it up a little bit. We'll see what happens on the other side of this break. We'll see you then.
550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding niggas out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win it, my nigga, I'm feeling great. Got a day with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a fuck what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't, it can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel.
Welcome back, everybody. After that absolute, I think the term is slobber knocker of a game number 1, MYNT end up pulling away with the victory. Early mistakes by MYNT, late game mistakes by TMG. This is just the Vanquisher special. It's just what we expect. Hopefully we'll get some more action like that in game number 2. Tater, is there anything in particular that we're expecting to see come into this game number 2? I remind everybody every time, but it is Fearless Draft. We're not going to see any Smolders, no Sivers, no AP Varuses anymore. So what are we thinking is going to change up this time around?
Usually what we do for game 2 is we first pick blind Lulu mid and then pick Kindred. But I don't
Blind
think they
Lulu
know the
mid.
tech. Yeah.
Interesting.
I can play. I'm a support main and ADC main by heart, okay? If you want to have a carry jungler, put me on the Lulu mid and we win the game. It's as simple as that. You don't die. And I do a lot of random damage as Lulu because my Q for some reason hits like a truck. So yeah.
I've been screaming that Lulu is a broken champion. But before we get into the draft for game number 2, we do have a little fun game we like to play here. It's been a second since you've been here, Stater, and this is the one from last week. Hopefully we can get the one up from this week in just about a second. But it's Kiss, Marry, Kill.
You all are not marrying Misfortune. That is absolutely crazy. What the hell was that?
And it seems that almost the entirety of the production staff was in agreement. Everybody said to marry Zed, which I think is the correct decision. Now we're on an entirely different one. I saw everybody choose to marry Zed. I was the only one to say kill the horse, and everyone else wants to kiss the horse, which says a lot about you guys.
I think the only thing I have to say about your choices is you're now one of those people that says size doesn't matter.
It's not about how big it is, it's about how you use it.
Yeah, but I'm still picking the horse. I love how we can hear production. For everyone that can't hear us, like, we can hear the panic in the back. There we go. That's the one we're looking for. Fright Night Trundle is terrifying. We don't want that one. We do not want that one. That is disgusting. Like, I don't even know where Trundle's face is in that one. I don't know what I'm touching there. Oh, hello. Back to Space Groove. Have you got this on slideshow mode?
Our producer is having a mild panic attack.
Fired. But as we do go back over it, Zed is the marryable one. Like, Zed is the marryable one. Look at this Misfortune. Who's killing it? Britty.
Look, I'm marrying Janet because she's unproblematic. Nidalee, I'm not killing the gays, so it had to be
problematic. Didn't show up in Arcane and say people know they're a god. Let's be honest here. That was a bit of a
Janna. I have no problems with Janna. I'm not kissing a horse. That's my only justification for this week. I'm not kissing a horse.
Yeah, I'm kissing. The headless Hecarim is such a classic one as well. It's just like if you see a headless Hecarim in like high diamond, you know you're getting absolutely touched by it.
Look, the headless Hecarim is a great skin, but the Fright Night skin line is so good. The stylization.
Yeah, but that's not the good one. That's the worst one out of all of it.
It is. Look, it's almost. I was about to say Draven is probably the worst, but Trundle is fine. It's still Fright Night, which takes him up several tiers. We can all agree
if you're going
that Zed
to pick
is
any of them to kiss, it is traditional. Like when it comes to tiers,
traditional is the one I'm marrying.
No, traditional Trundle is beyond anything because you have to kiss, marry, and kill that thing. Because one, you're gonna have one great and one night stand. You'll marry it the night after, and then you have to kill it because everyone else wants it, and you can't fight off all those people. Okay, you can't.
I think we're getting a little too deep into the lore here. We're jumping into game
Traditionally
number
speaking,
Mint is going to be staying on the blue side. TMG Paladins opting to stay on the red. So far, bans staying the same. I'm wondering if we still see that same high priority on the bottom laners like we did see in game number 1.
it is still crazy. I'm going to put it out there that we got traditional Trundle for free. That was free. Riot Games blessed us. But as
The
we do
artist
get back
blessed us, to be
into
fair.
yeah, as we do get back in, the bans are looking the exact same as we saw them previously. Nothing's going to change too much. So we still have the likes of the Wukong. We still have Sion, which I was expecting to see last game from
We still have Xin. We still have Pantheon.
Cone. Cone has to play Sion this time around. Has to be done.
Yeah. Given that it's not, there's no Trundle especially, which means the Scion is that much better. I wouldn't be shocked if we just saw Mint either first pick take it away or TMG just first pick it themselves. Mint may have other priorities that they want. Again, the Wukong is still up and available, so they could go for that. They could try and first pick a bottom laner potentially, but the pool is wide open, so I don't think they should. Yeah, Wukong's just gonna be the first pick. I expect Cone to grab Scion here. It's just a matter of what they grab with it. You think it's Scion Pantheon?
Pantheon would be the correct choice. From the side of TMGP to play into the Wukong. Like, if you're going to ever start a fight as Wukong and Pantheon drops on you, you're going to die because you have to use both sides of the clone with your ult. Joining a fight late as Pantheon, you usually win. Sion is a really good choice here for Cone to take. It just clears up most of the matchup. If we're going EU style, we're going to take a Cho'Gath here into that. And to be honest, from the ADC pool, you're looking at like something long range and
Caitlyn maybe to pair with Braum, Ashe to go with Braum. It's a little bit weird positioning wise to get away from the Pantheon. Tristana would be a crazy blind pick. She is a lot farther down the tier list. There's that Cho'Gath that you were talking about to match up into the Scion, so they are taking a little bit of an EU flair to it. But now it's just a question of what is going to be a potential blind pick here, unless TMG wants to grab a support to go into the Braum. They are. They're going to grab out the Lulu. So I'm immediately thinking something like Lulu Jinx, Lulu Aphelios, Lulu Caitlyn even also still works fairly well. They have plenty of options. It's just going to be a matter of how much that ADC pool gets pinched in the second half.
Yeah, Aphelios is the correct choice here, I think. There is that, I'm sure you've all seen Worlds and seen the Anivia pick. It's screaming Anivia pick for TMG if they have the, sorry for my French, but the balls to do it. If they have it in them, yeah, it works exceptionally well for them. Tristana is still probably the best ADC choice for Mint, especially taking away the Ashes, the Jinxes, all those other hypercarries. Trist has a very good time into Pantheon and Sion because you can just knock the Pantheon and Sion away. It's your own self-peel, especially because they don't have Rakan, they can't take the Xayah, and Tristana has a very good follow-up for Braum. If you land the concussive blows, you jump on it. It is very, very simple. Aphelios is fine. What else do you go for this one? If they go for more melee, it is just going to be the Anivia mid because this is such a low range comp already.
Yeah, they have to go. Okay, so they do opt for more melee into Aphelios, Lulu, and even Sion. So is it Cho'Gath mid with Mordekaiser top, or are we seeing Mordekaiser blind picked mid lane? Because I think either way,
it's all Varric. It's going to be Mordekaiser mid. It's going to be something strange.
It'll be Mordekaiser. The Tristana is going to get locked in for Mint, so it is Tristana Braum, which I think is good into Aphelios Lulu. The aggression can be really good, and Braum is also really good defensively.
Maybe it's so free.
Yeah, and Noxic with the Ziggs in game 1, and maybe now in game number 2, and this is a really short range comp from Mint until Tristana gets to like late game, level like 15 and beyond. This feels like it should be very TMG favored, but I've seen early game aggression from Mint before, and I've seen it get punished by TMG, so it's just going to be a matter of who's on top of it for this game. Looking at both of these drafts, I don't think I could pick one face-up of just, like, which one do I prefer. These are both a little out there.
I hate the Braum. That's the only thing I don't like is I hate the Braum. I would have loved to have seen...
surprises me.
Yeah, the Braum early is very, very surprising pick. I would have rather Trist into Cho and then saved the support pick for much later on because you would have then seen the Lulu and been able to change things up. Like, there is a lot of other good...
Force out
That would have been nice, but it wouldn't have worked as well with Trist. What I would have really liked to see for them, and I know it's a little bit wild, but just going for the Bard. Like, I don't know why there isn't Bard in that one when you're taking such a melee style comp. Bard buying you time to get into better positions is just a better pick overall, and it still works well into the Lulu as well. So if that's the only real change for Mint from my position, but I don't know how good Bots Maven is on Braum. If he's a god tier Braum, let them have it. It could be Alvaro, who knows? Could just work for them. But yeah, like the Anivia is absolutely key in this comp as well, because they have so much
the Anivia's
ground they have to
killer.
cover to get in. So I'm liking this from TMGP. Now, I did like their comp the last time around as well. I like the Orn early pick. Thought I was going to do a lot more. It did not. So Cone, my eyes are on you. I want to see what you can do on the Scion.
I think in particular, the issue that I had with the TMG composition last game was just the lane swap that they chose. They opted to go out of Smolder, let him get free time stacking up and farming. And like I said previously, yeah, you give your Sivir time to farm up and you got her a massive like 50 CES lead, but Sivir just doesn't do in the late game what Smolder does. It's just a very different kind of champion. It's not the I'm gonna 1v9 solo carry. Like if it was a Jinx, maybe I could understand it, but giving the Smolder all that free time was really just a questionable choice, and they ended up getting punished for it. So we'll have to see if they make any sort of similar choices and if they get punished for it here as we're on to the Rift for game number 2 of MYNT versus TMG Paladins.
Yeah, it looks like a 5-man invade coming through from the bot side of Mint, as they're going to get spotted out on this one. Will they flash for anything here? No. Fortress.
CC, knock up lands. The stun's going to land as well. Fortress Door is forced to flash away. Myers gets a bomb off, but it's just going to end up interrupting the recall. I thought Kami was about to interrupt Fortress Door's recall. Thank you for not tilting your fort support. But losing that flash level 1 is very bad for the Lulu, especially since they've opted for exhaust and not heal. They have no mobility options now.
They do have exhaust to stop them from getting to them. That's the opposite of mobility. It's oh no, don't cheesy little plays.
Oh, this is mean, but this is smart. Aphelios level 1 is when he's at his weakest, and Pantheon's going to be focused on his buff. And if Fortress Door walks up alone without the wave, pulled the trigger a little early. Fortress Door smartly waiting for the wave, so nobody ends up getting punished for it. I like the idea though from Myers and Bots Maven.
But with that one vision ward in the lane, it will show up whether they went back to lane or not. And there's always the idea of like, yeah, they could still be in our jungle. Let's relax a little bit. But Ulvarik is the one to keep the eyes on. Playing another one of those strange picks. Is Ulvarik my new Revnon? We will have to stay tuned to find out. But yeah, playing this strange pick. Maybe don't see a lot of Mordekaisers entering the mid lane. Same with the AP Varus. And I'm liking how Ulvarik's been playing these so far. Seems very comfortable on their champions, as Inogo Montoya is having the time of her life in topside, as you're actually able to trade decently into Scion. You just can't give over too many grass procs.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're trying to limit the enemy grass procs while also getting your own. As Ulvarik is going to get that passive on, gets a decent trade into an Noxic, but the autos back mean that the trade is pretty rough, as the Mordekaiser, the Dorn Shield, and the second one was nerfed. Auto comes through. The Ice Lance spears him. First blood to a Noxic on the Anivia.
Yeah, don't want to be seeing that, especially when you don't have TP. So that's going to be a lot of free time available for Anoxic. They will be able to get this wave in eventually, as well as they will stop Lookified as well from being able to clean that one up. So yeah, it's a really, really good start for TMGP. The Anivia already working out well.
Yeah, and this is one of those big things that the nerfs was targeting. As I'll put that on pause, as Fortress Door potentially in trouble, is going to get stunned up. Myers drops the bomb on them, but it's a little late. Kami's going to get a decent trade back with that Severum and Crescendum. Everyone else ends up walking away. But yeah, this is what the Doran Shield second win nerfs were targeted at. Melee's out sustaining these melee versus ranged matchups, and Ulvarik just didn't have as much health as he would have expected to normally and gets punished for it. Nice play by Anoxic.
Yeah, so loses the flash more importantly, so it just opens up more opportunities for the little toss pot Anoxic setup. It's a very, very easy stun combo for both of them, as Inogo Montoya has hit that level 4 and is getting that damage down.
Yeah, Koni's in a little bit of trouble, but Inigo Montoya is going to take a turret shot for it, and with toss pot in the area, there's a potential for either 1-for-1 or 1-for-0 trade for TMG here, depending on if Cone survives, as Inigo is not suspecting the potential jungle gank, has no mana, does have the flash, but this should just be one dead at Cho'Gath. Poor little guy, does not have any stacks on the ultimate yet, is just going to get auto down. Tosspot says, I've got the red buff, I've got it handled, you take your wave. Nicely played by TMG. Now on the bottom side, Kami Close to getting stunned up. The turn shot does plenty of damage. Myers surviving with a sliver of HP. The minion autos coming through. Has to barrier to survive the minion hits. Ward also does not hit the base, but now on the backside, Luckify tries to get onto Fortress Storm, but the exhaust comes through. But Kami has the barrier, but does not have flash. One more auto. Bots Maven finds the kill. Aggressive play punished by MYNT.
Very aggressive play, and this time around it is not Myers falling randomly to a tower shot. Although it was close, they do manage to survive, as they are stepping up, but still a little bit aggressive here. They do have the Guardian available from Braum, so that should keep them alive if Lulu does go for an EQ combo through the waves that Glitterlance should not be able to kill. But once again, look at that damage.
Yeah, stunned up. Luckify is in the area though, so Anoxic does have to be careful. Does have flash on the enemy, so not feeling too threatened, is able to just walk it out. Luckify goes in, has the red buff on, but the stun's gonna land onto Wolvark, and that's just a dead Mordekaiser. Yeah, Luckify, you're gonna be able to eat your eggs, but TMG will take the feat of warfare. He's actually not even gonna be able to. He can't even kill Anoxic in egg form.
No, Agnivia's strongest character in the world, but Kami has managed to take down Bots Maven, who was looking for an aggressive play alongside Myers there. So TMGP starting off this early game very, very well. They've completed feats of warfare, setting themselves up nicely, and no pressure so far on Drakes. No one has seemed to be walking around trying to set up for it. It seems like a very slow-paced jungler game. There's only one kill and one assist.
Yeah, Bots Maven just overstaying a little bit. Saved Myers' life, but ended up dying for it. Fortress Store being a good support and making sure they don't take the kill from their AD carry. Nicely played. As producers, we don't got to do them like that.
Yeah, I always got to zoom in on the body.
That's just me.
Only a fine in Valorant. Okay, we're getting an earful from production saying yes, they can.
They can.
We've got who the bosses were here. We've got who the bosses were. That's my bet.
Look, players, if you're unhappy with how the producers manage their cameras, you know that you can't. You know that you can't blame us. I'm not going to say what our producer told you to do, but know that they're unhappy about it.
I would. Anyway, as we continue on through the rest of this one, it is a great advantage for TMGP, but I want to see them convert this one. They've done this last time with the Trundle, with the triple kill. They got a good advantages, and it all seemed to fall apart for them very, very quickly. So I want to see a lot more control in the macro, setting themselves up nicely for these fights. Cone is falling behind quite a bit in this top side. Even if that kill did go over to a little top spot, it's the CS advantage that's building now for the Cho'Gath, and it seems mostly like mid is a focal point here for TMGP. They need to keep working on that and setting themselves up, and Kami is an Aphelios. They will scale quite well, so just get this Anivia into the game and you set yourselves up way too easily to win this game.
Myers is going to get polymorph, but Kami's going to eat a lot of damage. The shield comes through, but that's a fully stacked explosive shot. Myers finds the kill. Cone, in the meantime, helps out a little Tosspot. Oh, not Cone, sorry. I saw a Mordekaiser die. I assumed it was top lane. Tosspot and Anoxic work together to take down a Lark in the mid lane. Now with 0 and 3 on the Mordekaiser. It's going to take a lot of work to get him back into this game, as Tosspot will pick up the Scuttle Crab, but might have to get the heck out of dodge. Looking to potentially turn back as Myers finds Fortress Door, walking into unwarded territory. The Lulu is picked, and that should give MYNT this dragon.
If they choose to do so, Pantheon is not letting them choose to do so. Pantheon wants to take this fight, will hover around, does have that level advantage, more importantly, over Luckify, who has not picked up those Scuttle Crabs, as you do see Anoxic now heading down towards as well to help. We do see that stun actually landing onto the main war. Oh,
Flash
no.
forced the wall, beautifully placed by Anoxic, immediately forces the flash out of Luckified, and now even when he does hit level 6, will not be able to take advantage of that big Cyclone engage.
Yeah, Spots Maven sticking around. I think this might be a little bit of an overstay. I'd like to see you resetting with your jungler right now to head towards that top side. I think just going for the grubs here is a safer play, especially with that priority you have in the top side. You also have the Cho'Gath Nom to get a free stack, as well as set yourself up nicely for double smites. Just go towards the top side. Don't worry about it. Just let the Drake go.
I worry about giving this TMG team some extra heal and shield power, and even the extra tenacity I think is super helpful for them. So I'm fine with them taking the grubs, but I think people really undervalue how strong the individual dragon buff is from the Chemtech dragon. The heal and shield power and tenacity are not stats that are easy to come by, as Lark's just going to eat another chunk of damage. Good lord, that was through his W shield.
Yeah, this will be a very fast scaled Anivia, but it is still a scaling Anivia. It's still a Roa into an Archangel. It's still going to take some time as bots just decided to rip the art up.
Tried to pop the Glacial Fissure there, didn't end up finding any value. I like the aggressive look, but didn't end up working out that time.
Also, is Hui's Trail of Fire the exact same animation as Brahm's ult, or am I tripping?
It's different because it doesn't go up. The Braum ult has a very distinct, the ice comes up animation.
It just seems like they like angled it down a little bit and said, yeah, that'll do.
And also, you know, recolored it. Braum's ultimate is not orange in most skins.
Yeah, they just brought the hue filter to the red side and then said, that'll do. That's a good champion. Oh, and Noxic actually gets pulled in the tower.
Noxic ends up taking a tower shot. Alvaric really wants to get this aggressive play in. We've got an ulti in from Kone on the top side. His little top spot is getting the ulti on as well. Noxic is going to get put into egg form. Alvaric has the ghost on, but does he do enough damage to actually kill the Anivia at this point in the game? Because I think the answer is no. Noxic doesn't have any mana, so won't be able to get away from him, though. A nice pull back. One more auto should do the passive ticking down. Finally gets his revenge. In the meantime, TMG did get a successful play topside, but the solo kill from Olvaric, 0-3 down, comes up clutch.
Yeah, and that's the scaling when you spend all your money on stats, not damage, and you have to wait for all of that to come true. Yeah, it is going to affect you in these stages as Luckified does fly into the bot lane and make Fortress Store flash immediately to get out of that one, which is a great little gank and does get a lot for it. But yeah, the Mercury Tread's now working out. Olvaric looking strong. We do go back towards his top side where that's what I was talking about. Pantheon just drops in and says, yeah, I'm gonna kill something. And it's great to see. And Ogamatoya just knows it's coming and just like, yeah, I'll walk out. Don't worry, I'll go under this tower. It's real pretty here. Good tower.
And again, Kone making sure the kill goes over to the Pantheon. I think that's the right call. Is hey, are we getting a replay or is this just the same play happening again? Inigo Montoya is flashing out, but you're flashing to the wrong side of the map, and an Noxic's on the way up. I don't think the Cho'Gath is going to be able to survive this one for very long. Stun comes through, walled out just to make sure, takes the blast cone to guarantee Inigo Montoya cannot make it out to safety. One more Q, the spear comes through, Tosspot finds the kill. Luckified looking for a little bit of aggressive positioning with Olvaric and bots maybe in the area, but doesn't end up following through on it. Olvaric maybe looking for a potential play here. This camera's going to go a little wonky. Stun's going to land, and it's going to be a Tosspot picked up and shut down over to Luckified. Myers on the other side of the map, caught under his own turret. Moonlight Vigil comes down, and Kami finds the kill.
Yeah, perfect little setup there from Kami. Knows how to play the Aphelios with that Collector, and Tristana with the Collector is... It's a build I don't really like. I do like Yuntal. I do think it just has a lot more to it.
Yuntal in these games, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you're against the Scion. You don't need lethality. You need armor pen. You need to be getting a lot of auto attacks off with that Blast Whisper item, whichever one you do end up going for in the end. But I just think Collector is a little bit of a fake stat here into what will be a lot of really healthy targets. Like Anivia will have a lot of health from the Rod of Ages, the barriers and the shields from all of the Archangels, etc. Pantheon does have a lot of health as well when it comes to those later stages. I just think Collector's not going to be your best friend.
I think I may have honestly preferred a Serpent's Fang. Collector is one of my least favorite items in the game. I just think it's really bad. The stats that you are paying for are the passive that you're paying for as well. It's just not worth the money that you're putting into it. Other items are just better. Like, yeah, I get it's cheap.
I do
the
like
build path
Collector
is
in
really
squishy
nice,
games,
but
though. Squishy games.
It's got its place here and there, but it's not it's never been a first item every game.
We'll see how it goes in the end, because we could see Myers absolutely take off with it. We're not psychics. We don't know what's going to happen next most of the time.
Except for you when we have a draft, apparently.
Yeah. I'm going to stop being humble about it at this stage, because you're not going to see me for another 6 weeks.
Clones in, and Noxic gets caught by the stun. Pulled over his own wall and into the Death Realm. The Glacial Storm is there, but Olvaric is strong enough to just walk through it. He's got his winter boots on. He's feeling comfortable. Yeah,
blew the little piggy's house down and took them straight to death. The wolf gets that pig for free, as the Noxic will fall to the Mordekaiser, and it's starting to turn. This is the wheels that MYNT like to roll out every now and then to just start winning randomly. They just get little picks here and there, and this is where we start to see them take over. And TMGP, for all the years I've watched them, this is where they kind of slip and slide a little bit and they lose out. And this is where we should be looking like maybe we should move some of the lanes around. Putting that Mordekaiser up against the Scion might be the better choice here at this stage. And little things like that might change, but Inogo Montoya is actually starting to win this top side as well, even with those tower shots.
Yeah, nice little sidestep by Cone there. They both got their heart steals in inventory, so they're just going to be trading away stacks for now. But this is kind of the advantage of playing these off-meta mid laners that you get. Because, yeah, Noxic gets to bully you out in the early levels and you give up a couple of kills. But now that you've hit the mid game, you're starting to hit your stride. This is not a matchup that Noxic has a lot of reps in. You haven't played this matchup a ton of times, so it means that when Elvark gets close, Noxic doesn't have that same muscle memory of like, oh, I know exactly how to dodge Mordekaiser. I've done it a million times. And now it's just getting continuously bullied as Luckified makes another trip into mid.
Yeah, stepping towards that mid. They have got the two big, beefy solo laners here working away.
She's going to proc, but there's that unstoppable onslaught from the Scion. Inigo Montoya takes up a couple of turret shots, but ends up walking out just fine. Cone still wants to keep the fight going. Luckified dashes into turret, gets polymorph, gets stunned, gets silenced, everything thrown on the monkey. He's going to be able to walk out, though. Ulvarik now has the ghost on, trying to keep the team at arm's length. Everyone else is just going to be forced to walk away. Ulvarik will survive. Everyone manages to survive that mid lane exchange somehow.
Yes, we looked back towards the spot lane. Myers just stuck under this tower, not having the greatest of times here in the bot side, as they are... Look, they are in a bit of a Tristana situation.
Yeah, Tosspot with that Grand Star fall gets the explosive shot in, but Tosspot just going to be able to survive it. Tanks up that last turret shot from Kami as well. Beautifully executed dive.
TP bot, TP bot.
Or MYNT, they're looking for a turnaround play. Inigo Montoya wants to find top spots. Under Skyproc means that he's out of range of the ultimate. The auto's not allowed to come through. The damage is just not there for Inigo. And now it's red and white on Kami. They may have taken this fight a little bit too hard as Luckified gets into the backline, is trying to get the damage down to the top spot. He's so tanky on the Pantheon, though. Sundered Sky is a hell of an item. Luckified will finally take him down, but it's Anoxic who gets revenge.
It is Anoxic who gets revenge, and that Drake could be taken here. They could go for the tower either to solidify that opportunity to pick up the feats of... Oh, are they going to be able to get this one, though? Because we do have a Tristana running down towards. Botsmaven could throw up the shield and force some tower shots onto either one of these.
I think if he does, he dies, though. His health bar is just too low. He's going to be able to take up the turret, and they're not going to risk it. TMG will not be able to pick up this turret. So first turret blood still available for all teams.
Yeah, it is very low in the mid lane as well, and there's no one quite going to get there before Mordekaiser can get to the tower, I believe, on how quick his pushing power is currently with that haunting. Guys, we should be able to get this mid tower. Yeah, he gets it.
Bonk.
It keeps him in the game.
First turret over to MYNT. It's not the feats just yet, as the first 3 kills did go over to TMG. But now we're looking at the objectives. It was 3 grubs for MYNT. It was first Drake for TMG. 2 more objectives, and we will see who will get those extra upgraded booties.
Yeah, and they do make a difference. They do make a
Fortress
difference.
Door walks a little bit too far forward. The Rylai's is on. You have no mid lane turret, but a nice use of the wild growth means that the Mordekaiser will stop chasing you down. God, Rylai's is my least favorite item to play against. It is just so unfun. The permanent slow is so gross.
Shirelda's grudge on Ezreal. God, that thing.
Yeah, don't remind me when Sorelda's grudge was just AD Rylai's. Flash away from Inigo Montoya, and the top lane does not want to get caught by the decimating smash. Tosspot paying a lot of attention to this top side, I think, surprisingly. Playing a lot for the Scion matchup, which is maybe not what we expected. Inigo Montoya walking up, and now Cone takes up the damage, does not feel too worried. Ulvarik is potentially looking for a dive here, does have that death realm, and they've got Botsmaven, but I don't know if the Scion and the Pantheon are the ones you really want to be diving at this point in the game.
No, but they do manage to get bot tower now, and we do see Myers is doing decently okay in that bot side. They're still scaling up, getting items and farm and CS and XP all to themselves, but there is a lot of pressure from Kami, but that Rift Herald disappeared.
Yeah, that's kind of what Mordekaiser does really well. The jungle Mordekaiser never took off, but solo lane Mordekaiser does plenty of damage to these jungle camps.
Don't bring me back to the dragon memories of resurrecting dragons, please.
Oh, not that Mordekaiser. God, no. Post-rework Mordekaiser.
Back when he was just in Sao Paulo, not full Brazil.
Yeah. Montoya is going to get a couple of these autos off, picks up the grasp auto as Botsmaven on Ulvarik looking for a potential play down here, but Ulvarik may be the one who's in trouble as he's going to be able to get out and away from Tosspot. Now might be in trouble, is forced to just walk away. We're watching the top laners beat on each other, but keep your eye on that mini-map. Watch Ulvarik's positioning. Kami's in the front. He's got the purple gun, so Ulvarik will eventually get rooted up. Does have those Mercury treads, though, so is able to just get out. The CC does not last long enough. Ulvarik will survive.
The fact that Ulvarik just walked out of that, crazy. absolutely just walked out. Just was like, I'll flash, yeah, but you're not catching me after it when I fully expected them to fully send it there.
Is
A
Olvarek
little bit
the new
criminal.
Revnon?
Yes, I think Ulvarag is becoming my new Revnon. It's not as special as Revnon was. Revnon was
Yeah,
truly special. I loved
I
it.
think the part of that is because Revnon founded a church around you.
No, even before that, the first time they picked the set bot lane, and I screamed that they're idiots, and then the 5-man haymaker, I was like, this is my lord. This is my lord and savior. This is
It was a
it.
formative experience for all of us as Inigo Montoya. I'm gonna say starts to look in trouble, but he's also playing a very tanky Cho'Gath, so he's not feeling too pressured just yet. And Fortress Door has walked up very far. Cyclone canceled out by a great wild growth, but Bots Maven finds a beautiful Glacial Fissure onto 3. Another 3-man knockup lands as well, but they just don't have the damage, and Kami does! You have to respect the
Myers.
Aphelios at this point in the game. He's gonna get stunned up, though. He's just gonna get eaten alive! Myers now gets to jump, hop, a skip, and a jump, and a reset. City for the Tristana, a double kill over to her, but now she's stuck in the wall, a triple kill over, gets another reset, jumps the heck out. Cone is now trying to chase it down along with Tosspot. One auto should do it. They'll finally knock her down. Cone picks up the kill onto Montoya. Bots Maven now in trouble, stuck inside the Glacial Storm, and Anoxic will find the kill. A messy exchange, but it ends up with TMG on top.
Ends up with TMG on top. They're also starting Atakan, which is my worry right now because the respawn timers are not that bad here in Lookified.
The damage is not high on this Otacon. It's a slower take.
Once Anoxic comes over, we will start to see that move up to maybe 1k every 3, but it is still Lookified sprinting towards this. And that Vision Ward might be giving enough to see the end of Anoxic right there. So yeah, here comes the TPs, here comes the setup.
Yeah, Tosspot's just forced to back off. He knows that he dies to any quick combo, and they don't want to give the smite over. And Cho'Gath has the ultimate, so they just have to know. Smite, consume. Goodbye, Otacon. MYNT picks it up.
Oh, you can't do
If
it
I had
twice.
nickels for every time Otacon was thrown in this series, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice, right?
It's so criminal. It's so criminal. Like that little Tosspot is homeless when it comes to Atakan. Absolutely homeless. But Lookified now in a
Tosspot was the
world
one who
of trouble.
stole it last game on the Trundle.
It's homeless. Homeless.
Neither of these teams have had a clean Otacon. We can say that.
It is the dirtiest objective I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
It is crazy. Like, yeah. Like, there's even images going into the general chat of our production chat of me with my hands on my face. I can't believe it's happened again. Like, I am just GIF reactions now of Atakan takes. That is me. But yeah, just it is crazy how important that objective is, and even Worlds teams, they haven't unlocked how to do it clean without getting a complete ace beforehand. No one seems to know how to set up for it correctly. Like Baron, we've been fighting Barons for 15 years. We know how to do a Baron.
We figured out that Baron shreds magic resist, so you have to be really careful when and how you take it. But a new objective comes in that does a very similar thing, and all of a sudden, we all just forget how to take objectives.
Yeah, it's like always the setup is terrible. We don't cover all of our bases. We allow people entry into this area. I think it's the fact that it changes position. I think that's what confuses team. Like, it is, even at Worlds, you can see multiple times, especially in certain continents, mine mostly, we cannot take an Atakan.
Ours. It's not, NA's not any better. Don't worry. You're in good company
It was
here.
worse. There's one thing I will say.
The bar is low, so that's difficult. This Bots Maven is going to take a lot of damage from this combo. Does end up shielding it up, and now Kami potentially in trouble. There's the Cyclone, the Wild Growth, though, as well. But they're just going to eat the Aphelios alive. The monster comes through. Lookified finds the kill, and Olvarek on a great flank angle. Pulls Fortress Door into the Death Realm to his demise. Didn't even pull him into the Death Realm. Actually thought I saw the ultimate used, but didn't even need it. Just a great flank angle, and MYNT feeling full control of this game.
Yeah, and they will find Cone as well on the other side, so that Scion will fall. There is a chance, maybe some turret damage. Maybe they get the demolished proc
They
off here,
nerfed Mouse. It does literally 0 damage.
Yeah. Also, the Rift Herald was stopped during pilot
it's
mode.
stalled up.
Was it piloted though? Is what I'm wondering, because you know Montoya's not jumping into it
Montoya
now.
hasn't jumped into it. Yeah, it's not charging, so Anoxic with the wall just stopped Otacon from playing. Or not Otacon, Rift Herald. Different objective. Now I don't know objectives. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's the NA effect. Don't worry about it. I've seen NA give up way too many objectives at Worlds. Worlds has been interesting, though. Worlds has been interesting.
Worlds has been really sad for my pick'ems, but I will say spoilers for my pick'ems. If anybody even cares, I have picked for the Telecom Wars to make it to finals. I think KT is just silly enough that they might be able to do it.
I have a lot of faith in G2.
They have to beat Gen G to get there, but they could do it.
They've picked out the Anivia. They have some secret picks,
Yeah,
and on the other side of this,
speaking of the Anivia potentially getting picked, Lark is just going to flash over the wall. The stun does land from a Noxic, but the Mordekaiser does so much damage. The egg comes through, and Alvark in a technical 1v2, but just really fighting little Tosspot right now. Fortress Door is on the way. I think Alvark has finally overextended his welcome, I say, as he will end up picking one at the very least. And on the other side of the map, they have found Kami again in mid lane, and now we'll siege down this mid lane.
Yeah, and the siege with those 3 grubs with the Tristana, they should be able to open the space. They will be able to stop Cone from recalling. Unless he hits a wall here, I think he should be okay.
At the very least.
Yeah, they still get that full mid push, and this is what MYNT was good at previously. They play the macro just a little bit better. They see a play on the other side of the map, they immediately pounce, and sadly, Kami was the one that was caught.
Yeah, without their Aphelios and without their Anivia, they really just don't have the wave clear. So mid lane inhibitor goes down at 25 minutes. And that opens up the potential for a Baron angle at any point in the game, as that mid lane will continue to shove. And again, like you said, good macro. Rotate down to the bottom lane, and Eagle Montoya had the wave pushing, and they're just going to continue to pressure with these grubs and with this Tristana.
Yeah, I'm looking at this now, and there's a couple of jungle camps they can take on the way out, but we're just looking at the gold alone. We're nearly at, what, 6k it's going up towards? It's going to be heading towards 7.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, it's just going to keep building here as they slowly take that jungle away. Baron is the next objective on the map. We will not be seeing it break for 1:30, so we should see a couple of wards go down here from Bots Maven. On the side they want, it isn't Soul, so it should be towards Baron. I would be screaming that Baron is more important right now because TMGP need to stop the Soul Point while you're just looking to get to Soul Point. So
yeah, MYNT should send one person to look at Dragon while the rest of the team is making sure that either TMG doesn't take Baron or that they can take Baron.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you make the decisions depending on who's the strongest solo laner. The only issue is you only have 1 TP, which is a little bit worrying.
Can definitely take the Dragon, though. He takes it rather quickly with the Mordekaiser passive, that extra % health damage to those monsters alongside the Leandries as well. Like, he'll take it fast. He won't be able to get to the fight quickly if TMG does end up engaging on the Baron buff, but you can just disengage and you can say, hey, we've got a Dragon out of the play. That's worth it.
And look at the vision controls. Look how deep the wards are now for MYNT.
These are great ward lines. Like you said, this is just MYNT playing really good macro game.
They know how to connect lanes to each other to make even longer lanes between the lanes. It's a very advanced technique that takes a long time to learn, but they have perfected it here. And look,
caught out. The explosive charge almost one-shots him. The critical damage from Tristana. Fortress Door will be the one who's caught. Kami now forced to flash away. Oh, Luckified grabs the plant from him, does not let him escape. And now with the pick onto the bottom lane, the Tosspot having no HP, MYNT just says, screw the Baron. We're going to look to take the Nexus instead.
Yeah, they get to finish this nicely. The bot lane has been eliminated. They can try their best, but Myers has popped off full strength, ready to go.
Fall in from Pantheon. Tosspot trying to get into the backline. Noxic falls. The explosive charge blows up Cone and the turret. Tosspot will be the next to go. The Aegis defends for just a little bit longer. The wave is gone, but they're tanky enough that they don't care about the wave. The turret gets obliterated eventually. The Nexus falls, and MYNT, with a clean 2-0 victory, will keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, playoff hopes alive, and TMGP sadly have fallen here, and it just kind of sucks. It just kind of, like, everything was going so well. Their early game seems to be nailed down. It's those late game shot calling moments where they just seem to be letting it slip. They just seem ill prepared for objectives, and Adakan is a horror story across every single. No matter, if you're on red side, you just can't do it. Can't do it.
Vanquisher needs to learn how to take Otacon. I think probably every week, honestly, needs to learn how to take Otacon, as even pro players are still struggling on how to take it without a clean ace. But I think it was less about TMG playing poorly and more about MYNT taking advantage of what few mistakes there were by TMG, and also just having great setup and great macro. It was just really well played by them. Outside of a couple of early game mistakes here and there, as soon as they hit 15 minutes, it was like, okay, we've locked in, we're ready to go.
Yeah, Ulvarik especially, from the 0-3 start to come back to do the most damage on your team.
Oh, yeah.
Great performance there. Having 2 flashes is a little bit unfair. I'm going to say it is a little bit crazy. Also, double exhaust top lane Shogat seems like something I would see on TikTok in the middle of the night after 4 hours of doom scrolling. But look, yeah, like MYNT, they've always been a middle-ish team. I think is the fairest way. They've always got into playoffs. They've always had a decent run, but they never seem to quite make it. I think this Ulvaric strange pick mid lane might be enough to get them into those semis or finals. It is one of those strange things that can throw a mid laner off, and Anoxic seems to have all those kind of good picks locked in as well. Just there's errors happening in terms of macro, and Anivia kind of falls apart when you can't control the map.
Yeah, that's Nivea's big thing, map control, and unfortunately, it was just something that MYNT was better on the day. But I think that's going to be it for us tonight. I want to thank you all so much for joining us, Stater. We appreciate you stepping in, and it was great to see you again. Our producer and our observer, Loki and Golden, making sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible in the background. Thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you next week for more Titan Esports Vanquisher action. Have a good night.